all have been led to believe the Flint water crisis is the result of an attempt to save money, but was it really necessary? Tonight, we are exposing two different bottom lines.
And no one's health is worth sacrificing for money, let alone putting an entire city at risk. But what price did the city put on its people?
Tonight, 7 Action News reporter Simon Shaquette delves into the numbers that added up to disaster.
Tonight, for the first time, we're exposing the truth behind Flint's water crisis, a story that's never been told and that some are still trying to hide.
As a parent, it's unimaginable to think that something as foundational as safe water at your tap has to be questioned.
It began as a simple idea, a way to save the people of Flint money on their water bills, which began to spiral out of control. A cheaper solution is what people were told.
In a short amount of time, it was like hike.
The reason for switching from Detroit water source was to save money.
Were people told that Detroit was charging too much money or unfairly raising the rates?
I believe that's what the people were told.
In early 2014, Flint's state-appointed emergency manager, Darnell Early, oversees a switch off of Detroit's system. Former Mayor Dane Walling, working closely with Early, is there to push the ceremonial button.
Here's to Flint.
And toast with a cold glass of water that April.
Was this switch designed to save money?
That's sure what it looks like to all of us.
The alleged savings were meant to come from a new pipeline, part of a newly formed system known as the Karagandhi Water Authority. And Walling was also the first head of that KWA board.
While I sat in the mayor's seat, I saw double-digit rate increases coming from the city of Detroit every year.
Records show the city of Flint was paying an average of $1 million a month to Detroit for water. Savings would allegedly come from a new pipeline connecting directly to Lake Huron, and prior to that, from temporarily using the Flint River as a water source. Only two giant problems. Flint's river water wasn't safe to drink, and the city of Detroit says those figures are fake.
If you take about a 10-year period, the average annual rate of increase was about 6.3%.
Not the double-digit increase Walling claims he saw every year from Detroit.
Double-digit rate increases.
On average, over 10 years, 6.3%.
In fact, we've learned the rising cost of water came from Flint's own former mayor.
Every rate increase that's done in the city of Flint is done without direct approval of city council.
Shut it down! What about the savings for the people who were paying among the highest water bills in the country? Those savings never came.
I expected our water bill to go down, but it didn't look like that had an effect on anything.
Did you see any sign of money being saved since?
No, I haven't.
Were you privy to any type of data that indicated money was going to be saved?
Well, this probably was a savings for the city of Flint of $15 million.
Have you ever received political donations from the very same contractors who are now building that new pipeline?
I'm sure if we went back and looked through the records, we'd find contributors from Rowe Engineering and Wade Trim. It's not a conflict of interest. All of those contributions were received legally. They were all reported and disclosed.
Sue McCormick is the former head of the Detroit Water and Sewage Department and current head of the Great Lakes Water Authority. She says the hard truth is that Flint never had to make the switch. In fact, their water rates were the middle of the pack compared to 120 other cities.
When I think about the public health effects in Flint as a water professional, it's an emotional reaction for me.
In October of 2015, Flint reconnected to Detroit's system. But by then, a community of 100,000 people were already exposed to drinking and bathing water contaminated with lead. However, former Mayor Walling considers the biggest betrayal coming from the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality and the Environmental Protection Agency, not Flint leaders.
Who exactly was telling you Flint River water was safe to drink?
What was shared with this community publicly time and time again from the State Department of Environmental Quality was that the Flint water was meeting the same standards as the rest of the state. I pushed the ceremonial button on the valve and the pipe from Detroit.
Do you feel any responsibility for what's happened or no?
Well, I feel a lot of regret about it.
Discoloration, taste and odor, trihalomethanes, disinfection issues, Legionnaires. This was a technical failure at all levels.
In the end, unanswered questions still remain for Flint's people who've paid the highest cost with their own health.
Why would the water continue to go up? Why wouldn't we get some kind of a break if they were getting it out of a local water source? There's a lot more to it than what we know, that's for sure.
An important note, the city of Flint is currently paying legal bills for both former Mayor Dane Walling and former emergency manager Darnell Early. We reached out to Early's attorney for comment, but still have not heard back. Simon Shaquette, 7 Action News.